Evening, fam. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Man, I was actually, if y'all listen to yesterday's pod that dropped, I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make it on tonight because this week I am slammed. I am freaking slammed. But lo and behold, enough things popped up to where as I was like, you know what, I gotta come on here. I gotta get it off. I gotta get it off tonight. Gotta get it off. New pod dropped. New pod alert. Pod dropped yesterday. Check it out on all platforms. Patreon if you're on there. Episode 216. That seems low. That's one of those. Am I a day behind? No, I'm not. All right. Well, let's see here. What do we talk about? We open up with Ja Rule, Yayo murder on the plane. Then we discussed basically, we gave our opinion on that, on being too old to be in a fight, especially in the airport. Got to do better. Let's see here. Then we discussed, the pretty girl getting married, how that makes you feel. That actually ended up being a 15-minute conversation. We recapped the Super Bowl, Bad Bunny's halftime performance. Let's see here. Cardi B, Stephon Diggs, Offset in the middle of the pod. Did a versus debate about T.I. versus Lil Wayne of 50 Cent. Van Jones being Van Jones. And then we wrapped it up with some sports. Hornets being hot. And we finished it off with actually no. We did. Oh, we're gonna have that conversation tonight. It's on here. Don't even worry about it. So after you listen tonight, you'll see if you want to go listen to the pod. But pod did drop, and I have something tonight. I'm gonna do something here. Let's see here. Matter of fact, let me ask Gemini something real quick here. But one of my homegirls, she sent this to me because they be trying to trigger me into arguments in the middle of my work day when I'm busy as all get out. So I received this, right? And as you can see, it says here, why don't men go to curated dating events? Now, before I hop in here, let's see who posted this right here. This is Dr. I can't pronounce this, but it's Dr. Ibby, right? The attachment doc, attachment style expert, therapist. Group coaching starts March 2nd, okay? So as you can see, she has a page full of helping the ladies, I guess. I'm guessing. Not really quite sure.
Okay, men.
From this post right
Black
here.
Men especially, please answer me this.
All right.
Why is it?
But let's hop into it real quick. Let's listen to what she has to say. Let's restart that.
Especially, please answer me this. Why?
No. I need you to hear her from the beginning.
Black men especially,
there we go.
Please answer me this. Why is it that many of y'all refuse to go to curated dating events? I'm talking about events where the vibes are already set, the ambiance is right, the music is good, the drinks are flowing. You're basically guaranteed to meet somebody who's actually interested in you, and it's
kind of genuine right here, right? Kind of genuine. You're like, oh, she got a good point. Like, why don't we go to, the dating events and the speed dating things, right? Just let her keep talking per usual.
serious about dating. You're pretty much set up to win. conversation starters and prompts so there's no awkward silence, a bit of a structured experience, and maybe a little turn up afterward. So my question is it that dating events like this require a certain type of intention and vulnerability, and the patriarchy taught you
there it goes,
that pursuing connection with effort somehow makes you less masculine or something? Because the patriarchy told y'all that you're supposed to just stumble into love and not actually prepare for it? Because we see how that's turning out. The women are doing the work. They're showing up, they're investing, they're trying something different, stepping out of their comfort zone, taking risks. Isn't risk taking a part of masculinity too? So
oh gosh, boy. What are y'all real men gonna do?
what is it really? Is it the event itself or the unlearning the patriarchy part? Okay.
I'm gonna answer this question. Right here, right? Why don't men go to curated dating events? Right? I'll tell you right now. Ladies, any lady that comes across this video probably won't, because it's going to go straight to the Black Dads group on Facebook. And there's not a lot of women in there, if any. But the reason why men do not go to these curated dating events is because men don't want to meet women like you. That's all, right? The moment you start trying to have any conversation, instead of actually being a thinker, actually being an intellectual, actually being able to have conversation, the first thing that you throw up is something that black men have no parts of, right? Which is the patriarchy. None. 0%, right? Why would I waste my good clothes, my dry clean suit, right? My oiled up, polished shoes, get dressed to come out and meet a woman the moment we have any sort of disagreement? I am all of a sudden a misogynist. Men do not want to meet you. If Miss Maggie put on an event, I bet brothers would show up. If Suri B put on an event, I bet you brothers would show up. I'm running a blank on name, but anybody that was actually feminine and nice, if they actually had an event, men would show up, right? But they understand that, you know what, low key, men are sort of tired because we're in this environment where men are actually putting in the work, right? Most men that want to be married are married in their 20s, early 30s, right? When you start seeing single men in the late 30s, most of those men are divorced. Most of those men has already given love a try. Most of those men have taken a shot. The ones I heard patriarchy, that's all I need to hear. No, absolutely the soul, bro. It's like, we're not members of the patriarchy. We've never been members of the patriarchy. Matter of fact, by any polling, black men are the most progressive, egalitarian. Not just black men. Let me be real specific tonight, because we're gonna get to this at the end. I got 3 different videos. We're gonna get into these. Matter of fact, let's say a quick prayer. Lord, please forgive me for whatever I say tonight, because you know the intentions of my heart. All right, let's hop back into it. Black men are not members of the patriarchy. Never have been. Are the most egalitarian. Have always given their women agency. Always have given their women agency to be able to do what they want. The reason why black men are not showing up is because they don't want to come to an event with a bunch of women like you. That's all. If you was to actually give men sweet, kind, gentle women, right? They would have 0 issues of showing up to dating events. Black men have never had a problem with that. But one of the biggest problems, and this is what I'm going to say for 2026. I was going to do it probably about 2 years ago, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to lay off on it, because, simping is a huge problem. And I was like, you know what? Moving forward, men need to do what brothers in Germany are doing. Not literal brothers, but as in men, since we all part of the patriarchy right here. In Germany, it is common to go Dutch. It is a common, pragmatic, and accepted practice on dates, reflecting an egalitarian, independent mindset. All right? We are not members of the patriarchy. We are the most egalitarian men. Now, when I say this, I think sometimes people think that I'm egalitarian. I'm actually not. I actually believe in gender roles. I'm not egalitarian at all. But by and large, my brothers in the black community are egalitarian. And one of the things that I really want men to start doing is like, hey, this has to be your go-to right here, man. This has to be your go-to, right? If you want a dinner date, you want to go out to a Brazilian steakhouse, hey, you pay your $80, I pay my $80. It's a more genuine experience. It's a way more genuine experience. Because I keep seeing too many brothers that plan dates, buy flowers, send Ubers, take young ladies out to really nice places, all for, the next day, you know what? I don't think this is really going to work out. I don't think this is going to work. And I think if brothers start saying, hey, I'll go wherever you want to go. Because if I'm not dropping $150 to $300, I can double up my day now. I can triple up my day now every month. And I think that's where we need to be. Like, men need to be more comfortable just saying, hey, go wherever you want to go. You just pay for your way. And I think it's more authentic because you know why? Now I can see what you really got, right? If you're the type to say that, you know what, I really take care of myself and this is what I do, well, tell me to meet you at a Brazilian steakhouse. Tell me to meet you at the top steakhouse, in the city. Most men would have no problem doing that. But I think what will happen is when we start going out and you over there with a iceberg lettuce salad and a water, and the man is over there with his ribeye, I think they'll start telling us exactly where we are in this dating scenario. Absolutely, Dr. McDonald, absolutely. Women got to start putting skin in the game. Because the reason why men are not showing up to these dating events is because y'all aren't nice. You're condescending. The first place you went, and instead of saying, hey, guys, let us take accountability for how we've been in the era of Instagram and Cash App. My bad. We might have went too far. But instead of saying that, the first place that you go, oh, it's the patriarch. And what's funny is, I guarantee you, if men start saying, hey, I want to see you, I want to take you out, or I want to go out with you, right? Not that I want to take you out, but let's go Dutch. How many women are going to say yes to that? How many women are going to have that genuine interest? Because here's the thing. Y'all toting yourselves with Twitter and Instagram about how you was going over and getting your back cracked by your ex before you was going out on the date. Or how you took the leftovers back over to the ex after you left the date. Right? Like, you told on yourselves. And this right here, what is going on in Germany, a place that I do want to get to. I do want to head over there one day. Not because I like to go Dutch. I actually don't. I have no problem with paying. But one of the biggest issues that we have right now is this blind entitlement to men's time, to men's pockets, to men's protection. And it's like, yo, you're not a real man if you don't protect all women, right? It has never been about all women. Men are to protect their woman, not a woman, their woman. You can't protect every woman. You can protect your woman though. You could spoil your woman. It was never the intentions to spoil all women. I don't know where this came from. I don't know you. I don't know you. This is an opportunity for us to get to know one another. But if you're going to feel entitled to my time, if you're going to feel entitled to my pockets, and your response is, well, you don't have enough vulnerability, and you believe in the patriarchy. Sweetie, I think the patriarchy is the reason why you getting your bills paid. Or at least this bill paid. This dinner date paid. So let's go full egalitarian. Let's give full agency. And let's just start going Dutch. That should be something that men need to put in their bag for 2026. Because if she likes you, I mean, like, first off, we already know. If a woman likes you, you ain't got to spend a dime. She will be over your house before you invite her to your house. She would hit you up at 10 and be like, hey, what you doing? I'm in your neighborhood. Woo! That just my whole girl sent me that. I was like, yo, like we're not going because we don't want to meet those type women. That's all. It's really that simple. It's not that men don't like women. It's not that men like hanging out with men more than like, no, every man would love to have a companion that he's attracted to, right? Not just aesthetically, but also emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and obviously sexually. Like, I don't know why even when we talk about dating that we like, oh God, men want sex. No, nobody wants sex more than women. Okay. Go to the sex toy store right now and see how many of those sex toys are for men and how many of those sex toys are for women. Okay. Like let's stop playing this game, man. But what men need to start doing is you got to put that Dutch into your vocabulary, bro. Like you got and obviously we got to get off the dating apps because dating apps are trash. If you're using it domestically, internationally, it's still decent. I wouldn't even say good because women are women. So as I always say, source code is the same on women worldwide. Yeah, absolutely. So, bro, they will travel to come see you if they want you. So, brothers you gotta incorporate this, man. This ideal of just handing it out to women at the first sign of any disagreement. Oh, you're part of the patriarchy. Like, sweetie, black Afro-American men have never been part of the patriarchy. Ever. You will not find a more egalitarian man than black American men. You won't find a more progressive voting man than black American men. You just won't, right? If white men voted the way that black men voted, y'all would build statues in front of the NAACP. Okay? This idea that the top third of brothers just get to continually be taken advantage of, right? That you're just entitled to just use, not just financially, right? This is emotional abuse. You went online, you cater and pander to women, and you went online to just simply bash black men. There was zero reason for that to happen. None. The anti-black misandry is off the hook. And I can't blame brothers for saying, you know what, I'm just going to take a step back. Right? I'm not quitting. I'm not sad. I'm not depressed. It's just that I understand the environment that I'm in. And I'm not going to go out of my way to deal with anti-black misandry, right? I didn't bust my butt to learn a skill, to learn a trade, to get a degree, to not have a bunch of baby mamas. I didn't do all that to be abused by someone that's supposed to like me. My baby mama told me that once, the hatred for black women because I wouldn't support their poor baby behavior and decision. And this is going to go to my second point, what you said right there, is that you're either training the women that you're dating or they're training you. And black males in this country have been trained. They have a gynocentric thought process, right? You have haloed women to the point that you've deified them, and they are infallible, and that is an impossible place to be. And because we can't have a conversation about how out of bounds that someone that's a doctor can produce a content, produce a video that I can't say how many views on it, right? But it has 300 comments, right? And it's basically just talking down to men. Right. First off, let's be clear. The men that they want to show up to these events, because she's college educated. These are college educated men that you want to show up at these events. These aren't bums that you're asking to show up to these events. These are college educated men that you're asking. These are men that have put in the same amount of work that you've put in. That statistically are going to have less children than you, less fertility partners, that are going to be egalitarian, less likely to date out, more likely to be interested in black women, and that's your behavior. I do not blame brothers for not showing up to any event that's not put on by someone that is trustworthy. Period, point blank. And let's be honest, men never were speed daters in the first place. That was never something that the men that you wanted ever did. But the second part of tonight that I want to bring in is that the anti-black misandry isn't just coming from the ladies. It's coming from this matriarchal bunch of black men. And that has created part 2 of the problem. What I said on the pod yesterday, one of the biggest issues that I have is, going as a guest on someone else's pod or bringing someone else as a guest on our pod, because I was like, I never know when one of those guests is going to do this right here that I'm about to play. Right? I never know when you're going to pull this off. But let's play this. This is black men right here discussing black men, and I want you to see how different it is from the way that she spoke.
School with that were like becoming Kevin Samuelites going into their 40s. I'm like, nigga, you too old.
Yeah. Kevin Samuels around the time like it got so bad, like their kids our generation that was really on that Kevin Samuel shit because it like created that line to like the Tates of the world and everything. When I seen he died and I seen like what the
we're on stream.
What the we was on stream what happened, and when I seen what the online discourse was, I was like, I ain't never seen some of you niggas this broken up about like like what are we doing?
It was
the clips that I was seeing is some crazy
It was
shit.
groups of full-grown men going down the street and marching for this nigga.
I've seen like at least 10 to 15 grown-ass niggas just online bawling their eyes out.
His core guiding principle was anti-blackness.
Yes.
Just period. And it just so happened, as a black man, he aimed it more at black women.
I remember the day he passed on stream. And I remember we were talking about it. What you said, I'm not gonna say it. But what you said?
What did I say?
You was like that nigga. I think we was. I was trying to be correct.
It's the funny. Let me finish.
No. You good?
I was literally making my first Manosphere video, and I just finished recording the section on him. And I went in something ugly because I was like, I know he's gonna come after me, so I'm gonna just have to go in. It is what it is. And then I literally stopped record. I look like this nigga died. He felt that, and I called him a coon, all kinds of shit. And so I was like, listen, as much as I believe what I said, maybe like having that right after, is not a good thing.
Mine was like, I was on stream and I was new to the streaming shit, and I'm still like the gear is still trying to turn for me. I didn't really know where I was supposed to go. I only knew, nigga, how do me and my niggas get money? We all.
FD is my age, by the way. These brothers are in their young 20s.
I'm like, hey, bro, y'all gotta chill, hey, RP to my nigga. This nigga JJ come out of nowhere. That nigga died on a girl or something. She like, that bitch ass nigga died on a girl. I was like, he was like, all that shit that nigga was talking. It's like one of the funniest.
I had like,
look how many likes you got here. Can y'all see that? 8,700 likes, 2,500 comments, right? This is a huge problem that black men are dealing with, is that even in our own community, when it comes to dealing with issues in the black community, and I say on the pod, and I say it to be intentionally controversial, is that I was like, I can't call myself pro-black anymore. I can't be pro this. And this is not me being a Kevin Samuels fan. Wasn't a Kevin Samuels fan. I support, I shoot all black men bail. You're going to have a hard time to have me talk bad about any black man, including these black men, right? But part of the problem is when I see black men do things like this right here, right? When you say that he's anti-black, right? You laughing about a man's death. Let's ask ourselves a question. Do you think they got a video like this about Dick Cheney? You think they have a video like this about Charlie Kirk? Right? I go even further. If Nick Fuentes passed away, do you think they'd make this video? He's definitely anti-black. Do you think they'd make this video? We have a huge issue as black men, to whereas it's becoming hard for us to even trust one another because simp culture is so pervasive in our community. that instead of saying, you know what, let's tackle what he said, right? Nothing, this whole clip right here, they don't bring up one thing that this man said. The only thing that they mention is that he died on the girl, that he died, that I made a manosphere video, and it's laughter, it's joy, right? They have joy in their voices discussing the death of a black man. It's not really a community that you can build with. That's all I'm gonna say, right? We know that the vast majority of black men, 8% of black men, vote progressively, right? Not progressive in the sense of liberal Democrat progressive, but opposite of the right. We know that this is how black men vote. We know that black men are the best fathers. We know that black men are the best lovers. We know that black men are the best with their children. This is all backed by data. Right? But here we go. We have a bunch of liberal black men. Right? This is anti-black. All black men are not liberal. The vast majority of black men are not liberal. They're not conservative. They're not voting with Republicans, right? Like we know every poll that comes out, black men are typically between 80 to 90% on the left, right? That's them doing the right thing in spite of how they feel. So when you look at Dr. Eby, right? And you like, man, that's rough, right? But then you have brothers that come right behind it. They come right behind it. But here's the thing. Not done. By the way, guys, this is all this week. I don't know. I mean, I thought full moon was like 2 weeks ago. I do not know what's going on. Like I said, and I was busy this week, man. I'm having to send reports straight to the top of leadership or the organization I'm on. I got hit with hella jobs. It's new work, new business. Gotta nail it. I done procrastinated on my application for school. I'm supposed to be doing that right now. But I was like, I gotta come on. It doesn't support the narrative to give the black man credit. It doesn't. But, so it wouldn't be an issue if it was the people that we would expect to not give us credit, right? It's like the story of Caesar, right? Caesar knew that they wanted to kill him. Like, Caesar wasn't surprised when they started stabbing him, right? Like, he was just like, Brutus, for real? Right, that was the issue. Like that was the disappointment. The disappointment wasn't him being murdered by the Senate. He kind of knew that was coming. Like, we know who don't like us, right? The problem that we're having as black men is that it's people who look like us, and we're like, whoa, where did this come from? Where did this come from? I wasn't expecting this from you. But I'm going to finish up with one black man. Because I'm telling you, if it's one thing that I do not like, and let's be clear, I have not called any of these brothers names, right? I'm not a fan. I do not like them. But I don't have to diminish their accomplishments of who they became in order to disagree with them, right? When you do that, as a man, we got to start walking away. Right? There's no conversation that you can have with people who think like this. There's no conversation that you can have with people that take joy in your death. There's no people that can do that. All right. But let's listen to Toure. Toure, I think, used to write back. I don't want to misquote. Since I don't have access to my old YouTube account, I can't delete stuff when I'm wrong. Writer, huge in music, huge in hip hop. Toure, I'm going to mention something right here. And this, again, it's a problem with people speaking on behalf of black people that do not have great grandparents that was born in the United States. This becomes a problem because this looks like a black man, look like an African American man that has an opinion on what black people or black men should do. All right. So let's start Toure, and I want you to hear what he says here.
99.9% of the time, it is wrong for a white person to call a black.
Can white people call black ice the N-word? So I don't know if you saw the clip. There was an ICE agent in Minnesota that was, doing ICE stuff, and he was black. And one of the people, I still don't know who was talking to him. Right? It's Minnesota, so I'm gonna assume that it was a white person. The voice I couldn't really catch, but evidently it was a non-black person that called one of the ICE agents a house N-word, right? And not with the A on the end, with the ER on the end. Toure is saying he's answering a question, unabated, by the way. He did not have to post this video. He could have an opinion. He could have sat around and said this with his friends. He decided with his platform. By the way, this has 123,000 likes, 4,500 comments, shared 18,000 times. Okay. He decided to come on his platform and say the following.
Person, the N-word. But we may have found the exception. In Minneapolis recently, a white anti-ICE protester was in a group of anti-ICE protesters yelling at a black ICE Gestapo agent. An unidentified white male called the black ICE agent a house N-word who's working for the KKK. That's right, we have a white man calling a black man the N-word. But this is a little bit different. White on black usage of the N-word is a very serious issue. But this is a curveball example. Is it wrong for a white person to call a black ICE officer a house N-word? Let's explore. The white man who used the N-word in this situation was being historically precise. This black ICE agent, he is being a house.
He's been historically precise. Again, remember when I say the patriarchy is always upheld by supremacy, right? The patriarchy is racist. That's why I always say black men are not a part of the patriarchy, right? It was meant to uphold white men. And the members of the patriarchy, by the way, is the white male of power, his wife, his daughters, and his sisters, right? Because everything that he does, right? Why you don't want to integrate schools? Because we don't want black boys in here with our daughters, right? Why you don't want black men to vote? Well, white women say that, well, we can't vote. Why should black men be allowed to vote, right? Like, the patriarchy has always been based around racism and supremacy, right? And so it's feminism, by the way, which is why if someone is a feminist, I don't even listen to that BS, right? But Toure he's providing credence now, and he's doing this with a black face. He looks like an Afro-American man, like anybody who look at. He's not. His parents are from the Caribbean, and I love my Caribbean brothers and sisters. But this is a good example of someone that do not understand the lineage of the United States and the historical significance of the United States. And this is something else that we have to start calling out, because I can't go to the Congo and tell them how things should be done because I read Patrice, right? I cannot go to South Africa and tell the ANC how they should run things because I have read Nelson Mandela or Winnie Mandela, right? Winnie's my favorite, by the way, right? I can't do that. I can't go to Jamaica because I watched a movie about God, I forgot his name. Anyway, reggae singer, right? I can't do that, right? I can't do that. But for some reason, people can come here and then they can start telling us what we can do in our house.
N-word to the utmost degree. A black man in ICE is a modern house slave. He's a barely paid mule for white supremacy. The KKK were domestic terrorists.
Bob Marley, thank you.
ICE is domestic terrorism. I think this is a valid usage of the N-word. He's not attacking his blackness per se. He's attacking his bootlicking choice to be in ICE while being a black man. Being black in ICE makes you a house N-word. So to call you that, it's almost like a professor pointing out, oh look, there's a modern house N-word. I think this usage is valid and acceptable. If it had just been the N-word, that would be problematic. But when he adds the house N-word, he's being historically realistic. So yes, it is okay to call...
Black men, watch your six. That's all I'm saying, right? You got way too many battles out there, right? We know that we're on the front line against supremacy, right? But we're being flanked, right? If it's not emasculation of black men, if it's not, feminism or womanist, right? Ideology, it's someone coming up from your rear that looks just like you, that will thumbs up to the world that is okay for you to be called the N-word because they disagree with you. I disagree with ICE. I don't think that brother should be called a house N-word. Yeah, he's giving them the okay. And that becomes the issue, is that these are the promoted black men, right? When black men want to get online and say, hey, we need to have better leadership, right? I had a conversation with a good friend of mine this week, and I told him, he was just like, hey, leadership is hard. He's tired. He's exhausted. And I was like, it's always going to be hard, right? Because either you lead or you're going to be led. And if it's too hard for you to lead, then you need to put yourself up under somebody who can lead you, right? Yeah, most of us don't really like that, right? But there's always a hierarchy, right? All men are not created equal. And some of us, our job is to be the centurion, is to be the guardian at the gate. Before you ever become the general, before you ever become the king, right? You have to pick up all those duties along the way. And those things are hard. But it's even harder when we have men that look like us, that we think are on the same team, and they're intentionally turning the ball over. They're intentionally point shaving in the game. And we're not aware of what's going on, right? We out here just hooping. We hooping. We don't know that there's men out here that's dribbling the ball off their feet on purpose. We don't know that there's men out here that are taking erratic shots on purpose. They're shaving points on purpose. And we have to call out the Tourés. We got to call out the FDs, the FD signifiers, the JJs. God, I like JJ, man. I thought our brother was so sharp when he started with the political commentary. I think back in 2018, maybe 2016. But it's always this once you have that pat on the head from supremacy, it's like, whoa, I like the way that feels. All right, I don't went over. But I had to come on, man, because those three things, they were on my mind. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Appreciate everybody that that checks us out in the Black Dads Club podcast group on Facebook. Hey, so appreciate you chiming in, brother. Always a good. All skin folk ain't kin folk. And we have to be more aware of that. And we got to make sure that we all that are on the same page. And that doesn't mean that we agree on everything, right? But we do agree on the premise of elevating ourselves and making sure that our brethren that are like us are also elevated, right? We got to watch. You have to watch your six. Because right now the environment is becoming so toxic, right? And again, I think we're used to the toxicity of supremacy. I think we kind of used to that. But one of the things that we're not really paying attention to is this Touré BS. Hey, so I grew up in there too, man. Hit me up in DM. Yeah, I was ahead of y'all. But hey, I appreciate y'all for chiming in, man. That's all I got for tonight, man. I just had to come on here and just get that off on my chest, man. Get it off my chest. So appreciate y'all, boys. Hit me up in the DMs, man, at Pastor Mike Will. Twitter, Instagram. Check out the pod. It dropped yesterday. God bless, man. Good night.